Should you visit Zermatt and the Jungfrau region on your next trip to Switzerland? Or if you only have time for one, which is better?
We're putting these two destinations head to head to see which one comes out as king of the Swiss Alps based on 9 different categories. Now, of course, we tried to be as unbiased as possible, but you can judge each category for yourself based on your travel preferences too.
Let's start this battle so we can crown a champion.
Our first category is sightseeing because, well, that's usually the #1 reason that people choose to visit either the Jungfrau region or Zermatt. And for mountain excursions, Jungfrau gets the point. There are only 3 main mountain excursions in Zermatt: Glacier Paradise, Gornergrat, and the Matterhorn. But there are so many more in the Jungfrau region. We tried to count them all and we stopped at 15. Not to mention that the ones in the Jungfrau region are just more accessible, they have more activities and more dining options as well. But as for villages, we've awarded a tie. Zermatt is a bustling but charming resort town with plenty of traditional architecture, and the nearby hamlets of Zermatt, Zumsee, and Findeld are just one of a kind. However, the villages of the Jungfrau region are completely different. Gimmelwald still has working farms, while Mürren and Wengen are built for tourists but still cozy in their own way. Grindelwald's probably the most similar to Zermatt out of any village in the Jungfrau region, and Wilderswil has the most authentic local life. The best area for day trips is 100% the Jungfrau region. You can easily head to the lakes for a boat ride or even catch a quick train to Bern or Lucerne. Zermatt, on the other hand, doesn't really offer any day trips. Unless you count riding the cable car across the border to Italy, but most people don't do that. Anyway, it's not really a great place for day trips because it's situated over an hour by train way down in the deep end of a valley. So if you're looking for the best area for sightseeing in general, choose the Jungfrau region.
This next category is something the Swiss Alps have plenty of: jaw-dropping, picturesque, panoramic scenery. And where is the more dramatic landscape? Well, it's a close call, but we're going with Zermatt. I mean, the Matterhorn is the most recognized and most photographed mountain in the world, and for good reason. It's a magnificent pyramid that juts out of the earth and proudly stands all on its own. Oh, and you can see it from literally everywhere in Zermatt. Don't get me wrong, the big 3 peaks in the Jungfrau region are spectacular, but it's pretty hard to compete with the drama of the iconic Matterhorn. But the Jungfrau region does get the point for being the most naturally beautiful. Zermatt is a lot rockier and browner since it's higher in elevation and experiences tons of wear and tear from the ski season. But the Jungfrau region is exactly what you imagine when you picture the Swiss Alps: green hills, fields of wildflowers, bright blue lakes, cascading waterfalls, and snow-capped peaks. The Jungfrau region also wins for the variety of landscapes. Lauterbrunnen's deep valley with tall cliffs looks totally different from the wide open expanse of Grindelwald, which looks different still from the flatlands of Interlaken, nestled between 2 lakes. In contrast, Zermatt is pretty much all about the Matterhorn and has similar views no matter where you go. So if you want to visit the spot with the most beautiful scenery, head to the Jungfrau region.
Now, you're probably thinking, here they go, just rigging the competition for their beloved Jungfrau region. Well, the tides are about to turn because it's time to talk about food. If you're looking for unique food, like something you won't find elsewhere, then head to Zermatt. It has endless restaurants that serve up fusion cuisine, which makes it feel a lot more like dining in France or Italy. There are plenty of classic Swiss dishes there too. Think sausage and potatoes and cheese, but that's more the majority of what you'll find in the Jungfrau region. Beyond just the cost, the meals in Zermatt are a much better value too. The creativity, the variety, and the regional specialties just make every meal an excellent value. Oh, and you can get all of that at Michelin quality restaurants for the same price you'd pay at pretty much any restaurant in Switzerland. Mind-blowing. The Jungfrau region has good quality food too, but feels a little pricey for just meat and potatoes. And when it comes to dining with a view, Zermatt also gets the point. Some of our favorite restaurants in the Jungfrau region have really good food, but just mediocre views. In contrast, pretty much all of our favorite restaurants in Zermatt deliver sweeping Matterhorn views. In fact, when we wrote our 3-day guide to Zermatt, we had trouble coming up with new ways to say, this restaurant has great views, and this restaurant has Matterhorn views, and you can see the Matterhorn from this restaurant's terrace. Great food with stellar views equals a win from us. So Zermatt sweeps the board in the food category. We have spent almost 3 cumulative years traveling Switzerland, and we've been to almost every Swiss canton, and hands down, Zermatt has the best food in the whole country, in our humble opinion.
We all know that planning an international vacation isn't as simple as a weekend getaway to Grandma and Grandpa's, or Grosi and Grossati in Swiss German. If you're trying to decide where to go and what to do, keep in mind that there are way more possibilities than you'll have time for, whether you visit the Jungfrau region, Zermatt, or both. But doesn't one of them stand out as an easier DIY trip that requires little to no research? Unfortunately, nope. However, you're the winner of this category thanks to our Swiss travel guides. While you don't know which place will come out as the winner of this competition, that's okay because we have Swiss itineraries for both destinations. So keep calculating your own score during this battle to see if you should visit the Jungfrau region, Zermatt, or both. And then let us know in the comments the result of your personal scoreboard.
Next, there are 2 points to consider about lodging. And Jungfrau wins the first point for having so many choices of places to stay. That's because there are just so many options. Interlaken, Villersville, Lauterbrunnen, Wengen, Grindelwald, and the list goes on. In contrast, there's really only one place to stay in Zermatt, and that's Zermatt Village. Some people stay in the villages farther along the train line, but these aren't necessarily any cheaper and are much less convenient. However, Zermatt does get the point for having luxury lodging options. This resort town is packed with hotels that offer spa services, balconies with Matterhorn views, and lots of luxury amenities. The Jungfrau region has a few high-end hotels in Wengen and Grindelwald, but they're a lot less common. In general, the Jungfrau region seems to be more focused on practicality than luxury. That means that we have a tie for lodging between the Jungfrau region and Zermatt. Now, you might be wondering why we didn't talk about budget, but that's because we have a whole nother section about costs later.
If there's one thing we've learned since launching Aplins in the Alps in 2021, it's that most travelers have big questions about Swiss transportation. So we're going to share some nitty-gritty details about transportation in both of these locations. When it comes to reaching the destination, the Jungfrau region definitely gets the point because of its easy accessibility. You can get here by public transportation from Zurich in 2 hours, from Basel in 2.5 hours, from Geneva in 3 hours, and even from Milan, Italy in 3 hours. And you can also drive to the 3 main villages in this area: Interlaken, Lauterbrunnen, and Grindelwald. But Zermatt is another story. It's about 4 hours away from the Swiss airports or Milan. And you can't actually drive there because it's car-free, which definitely adds some complexity. Once you're there though, it's pretty easy to navigate because once you're in the village, there are only 3 mountain excursions and all of those transportation lines depart directly from the village. Whereas the Jungfrau region has a lot more variety, or should we say complexity. Boats on 2 lakes, trains departing from Interlaken in 3 different directions, countless cable cars and gondolas and mountain trains. But as for train passes, the Jungfrau region scores the point. Zermatt does offer the Peak Pass, but it's usually just way too expensive to actually be a good value, even though it does cover everything in the area. The Jungfrau region just has much better choices. As you probably know, the Berner Oberland Pass is our favorite recommendation because it's a great deal that covers a huge portion of the country. That makes the Jungfrau region the overall winner for the transportation category.
You probably already know if you're a hiker or an adventure seeker, but even if you aren't, don't rule out this category because hiking can include easy panoramic walks and adventure doesn't just mean base jumping or ice climbing. So for hiking, we awarded a tie. Zermatt has better trail conditions in general, but the higher elevation makes it a bit more physically challenging and means there's a shorter hiking season in the summer. And the Jungfrau region trails have a lot more diversity of terrain and altitude. In general, both destinations have plenty of options, links, and difficulty levels. But for adventure activities, Jungfrau edges out Zermatt. Zermatt offers the usual options of paragliding and hut-to-hut hikes and even summer skiing. But the options just feel a lot more extreme for the average traveler, like climbing the Matterhorn, for instance, whereas the Jungfrau region is just a lot better for average folks like us. There are more and cheaper paragliding choices, canyoning, rafting, and via ferrata options. So the results of this category are close, but the Jungfrau gets a slight win here.
Weather matters, and Zermatt wins by a landslide, since it's the sunniest place in Switzerland. In fact, Senega literally means sun corner, which makes Janet so happy. Since the Jungfrau region is on the north side of the Alps, it tends to see more precipitation, but of course it can have beautiful weather too. Weather also impacts seasonality, and both destinations tie for this spot. Zermatt has a shorter peak summer season because shoulder season lasts until mid-June and begins again in late September. Yet Gornergrat and Glacier Paradise, two of the main reasons travelers visit Zermatt, are open year-round. With the exception of Jungfrau, top of Europe, the Jungfrau region has more transportation closures during shoulder seasons, and even a few destinations that are only accessible during the summer, but it does enjoy a longer summer season. So a victory to Zermatt for weather and seasonality. Our biggest tip is just to look ahead at the weather and double check for transportation closures. If you have any of our guides, we include a handy spreadsheet you can use to search which transportation lines are open for your exact travel dates.
Next up is cost. We've said it before and we'll say it again. Switzerland can be expensive, but it doesn't have to be. In general, Zermatt is more expensive probably because it's considered to be a resort town. You're also likely to spend less time here, making it more expensive per day. But the Jungfrau region has a lot more options, so you can really adapt based on your budget. You're also more likely to spend a longer amount of time there, making it more affordable to enjoy a longer trip.
The scores were so close, you can't go wrong with either destination, or both. Shop our Swiss travel guides for our best advice and watch this next to help you plan your trip to Zermatt, the Jungfrau region, or beyond. We'll see you in Switzerland.